Yeah, so I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a backstory on Dead Betty here, Project Living Ded Girl. She is a 1955 Buick Special. This is my dream car. This is a car that I have always wanted, or wanted for a very long time. I'm super excited to have one and to hopefully be able to build one. We have a show called Super Run, Rock and Red Deer, that comes through every 3 or 4 years. And it's been a while since we've seen one because of COVID and everything like that. That show there, I saw one that was built, a 1955 Buick. It had been like all sanded down to bare metal, and then it just had that nice surface, put a surface rust on it. It was rad. If I can find a picture, I'll throw it up on the video here. Some of you probably might even recognize it. Pretty awesome car. I tracked it around. It sold like 3 or 4 times. Saw it pop up on Kijiji. I've got alerts on Kijiji for 1955 Buick, and I tracked that one around quite a bit, but I haven't seen it pop up for sale. Oh, I don't know, for 7, 8 years, something like that. I'm a big fan of the nailhead too. I've got a nailhead over here that was in the car. It's the smaller one. It's seized solid, and I don't know if there's any chance of getting that thing running or working again. But I'm looking at putting 6-liter LS from my wife's Denali in here. So doing a full LS swap with the 4L65E from the same SUV. Got to put a new rear end in it. This one's got a torque tube, so it needs like a 4-link suspension system or setup, or a track arm suspension, something like that. And then a new rear end and stuff to swap it over to an open driveline. It's pretty much going to stay looking just like this. Yeah, because I'm a big patina guy. I love patina. I love rust. All that shit's cool to me. I do want to patch some of these holes up in the roof here. And then I plan on grinding down the roof. I kind of started on the other side already, and then just clear coating that with the bare metal finish. And then the rest of it's going to stay as it is. And if there's anywhere I end up patching, I'm just going to leave it with the patch showing anything like that, and clear coat over top of it. As you can see, I've already torn apart the whole front end, cleaned it up, grinded down some of the firewall, painted the whole front of the frame and the firewall to protect it all. I plan on painting the inner fenders and the underside of the hood and all that stuff. So when you pop open the hood, nice, shiny, new black, and also the frame and stuff underneath the car. I'm gonna go through and do that too. Pulling out the rear end and the old gas tank and stripping all the old fuel lines, brake lines, all that stuff out of the car. It's all coming out. It's all gonna be replaced. It's all gonna be new. New wiring, new lines, new fuel tank, all that stuff's gonna be new. Today, we are going to do an unboxing. Very first sponsor for the Dead Betty build, Poppy's Patina. How freaking cool is that? So you guys can see behind me here, Dead Betty, Project Living Ded Girl. Pretty stoked. Yeah, I reached out to some people on Instagram and stuff like that, and Poppy's Patina was pretty excited to give us a shot here, which I think is a perfect combination, because the plan all along was to put a clear coat on here, seal it in good, and the wipe on clear coat just seems like such a good idea and such a good fit for this. So let's open up this package and see what we got. First, it looks like we got a t-shirt, application sponge, rags, another sponge, some scuff pads, wipe on clear coat gloss finish, wipe on clear coat matte finish, wax and grease remover, clear catalyst ×2, detail spray with ceramic. We've got our wash and wax and pre-cleaner. And then it also comes with a spray cap. I am super excited about this sponsor, so we're gonna throw a sticker on there, and I'm gonna pull the fenders down and we're gonna do a side-by-side comparison. So we will get one all prepped and wipe the clear coat on, let it dry, and then we're gonna compare the two. And I'm super excited. Seen lots of guys do this. I think it's gonna work out really, really good. First, I think we gotta clean this thing. Okay, so it says to use one of the gray rags and the pre-cleaner and some water. Remove as much off the panels as we can.
You are now in the presence of a...
And you know what? Just like that, she's done. Right now, pretty shiny, but it'll dull down from there. Poppy's Patina. Those guys know what they're doing. Come back out tomorrow and check and see what it looks like when it's dry. So here it is. Got a nice little bit of shine to it here. Feels really good. Looks really good. There's a little peek over there. Yeah, came out fantastic. Looks really good. Brought back a little more of the actual color of the paint. You can see that there compared to the other fender. The other fender is a little lighter, but yeah, overall looks really good. Went on really nice, and I'm super happy with it. Really excited. So today we're out here gonna work on the Buick again. I want to get this thing jacked up in the air and start looking at tearing out some of the stuff from down underneath. All right, so here we are underneath the car. Like I said, this one's got a torque tube setup, and that setup needs to come out so that I can convert it to an open driveline. So this whole rear end, all the suspension, brake lines, fuel lines, exhaust, it's all got to come out from underneath here. And then, yeah, obviously the exhaust, it was buried in the dirt when I went and got it. And then this fuel tank needs to be dropped out, which should be not too bad at all. So we'll get to work maybe pulling this fuel tank first, and then go from there. We can start looking at getting this rear end and torque tube set up out. Not worried about saving any of this stuff for me personally, because I plan on putting in whole new suspension, airbags, maybe a 4-link or a track arm suspension, something like that, because this just isn't set up the way I want it to be. So if anything starts fighting me, I'm just gonna start cutting. Just as I suspected. It doesn't fit through the hole. All right, guys. And just like that, we got the rear end all out of there, gas tank all out of there. Past supper time, I'm hungry, so I am headed back inside. Frick, that looks good that low. Here's the rear end. It's heavy and it's cold and it's snowy outside, so I didn't bring it outside yet. And then there's the gas tank. I got a little bit excited to patch these panels on the roof. So I think what I'm gonna do today is, you can see on this side, I have just started sanding down the roof just to kind of see what it looks like. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that over the rest of the roof. That way I can see all of the spots that maybe we can patch. I've got a couple of just random sheets of metal I bought for whatever here. This kind of stuff. So I think that just use some of that, tack her in, and replace some of this lovely rust. I'm not gonna go. I haven't welded since high school, really. So it's been a little bit for me. Not a body man. I don't have any fancy tools. All I've got is some of that metal, you know, some hammers. Got a little body hammer somewhere around here. I only got this here. Give that a whirl. You know, the old
over the knee trick and see if we can get some of these panels replaced. So gonna give it a whirl, see how it goes. All right, so yeah, grinded some of that down a bit, wire wheeled it, whatever, flapper disc. You can see there's quite a bit of rust in this back corner here. So a good chunk of that's gonna have to get cut out and welded back in. And then got another big chunk here. I'll have to get cut out, welded back in, and then going along, there was some up here too, which was a little more hidden. So we'll probably have to cut out a good strip here. And we'll do another little strip here to there. And then here we'll do, that's gonna be like a big triangular piece there. Okay, so we got everything patched in. My patches aren't the prettiest, but it's a rat rod and I think it's gonna look pretty cool. Next thing I wanna do is take the stripping wheel and I wanna try and strip all the paint off the roof. Might have to run out and grab another stripping wheel because I only got one left, partially used. Strip it all off, clean it all off, and then we'll slap some of the Poppy's Patina wipe on clear coat on here to protect it in that nice metal finish. I think it's gonna look pretty sick. All right, so we got the whole roof all cleared off, all the paint stripped off of it. We got those patches in. So here's the roof all stripped down now. I think it looks really cool. Gives it a, honestly makes the whole car look longer and lower, which is perfect. And then yeah, here's the one little patch on this side. Like I said, my welding and my patching skills aren't the greatest, but rat rod, so I think it'll look pretty cool.
get around to the other side. So this is the side where most of the damage was. I had to put these 3 big patches in. Like I said, I'm not the best welder. Never worked metal before. But for what I'm doing, I think it came out pretty good. Looks pretty cool. So next up, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get this all cleaned up and prepped. And then we'll throw some Poppy's patina on there. We're gonna get our jack back up, get underneath there, and we still got the old master cylinder and some old brake lines, fuel lines, that kind of stuff to take off underneath the car, springs and stuff like that. So we're gonna get it up in the air on some jack stands and pull all that stuff off, and then see if we can get it nice and clean. Okay, so underneath the car now, I want to take these springs out, get rid of these lines, finish taking this handle bar out, exhaust out, any other little things I find down here that we don't need. Okay, so I'm just doing some preliminary math here. If I run around the same size rim and tire that I've got on my Oldsmobile, Los Viejos, then I think I'm going to have to notch the frame in order to lay frame. I think this here, and if anyone wants to comment, you know, how I should, if I'm doing this math wrong or anything like that, please comment below, let me know what I'm doing wrong. Because I don't do this very often. To the frame right now. If I go here, so I'm 17 inches to the frame over here from the ground. And if I want that to sit on the ground, figure out the difference here. I am 30 and a quarter inches. So then 30 and a quarter minus 17, that gives me 13 and a quarter from the bottom of the frame here. From the bottom of the frame, it gives me 13 and a quarter from the bottom of the frame here to the bottom of the frame here. When I'm laid all the way out, I'm obviously not driving. So if this is on the ground, my rear axle is sitting right against here. 13 and a quarter is about 4 inches, say 11 inches. The radius of my other wheel is 13 inches, so I'd still be 2 inches off the ground. So I need to notch this. Yeah. Like 3-4 inches in order to be able to lay the frame and run the same size wheels and tires that I've got on the Oldsmobile. And I really want to lay frame on this one.
Okay, so here's the math behind what I'm thinking here. So my frame goes like this, up, and then it kind of does that. This is the important part here. So right now my car's sitting up on jack stands. Here's the floor. I am 17 inches off the ground there. So, and then when did I say I was here? From the bottom of that part to there, I was 30 and a quarter. So 30 and a quarter inches. So that means the difference from there to there, so the bottom of here to the bottom of there, was 13 and a quarter. Right, 13. Yeah, 13 and a quarter. So your rear end is sitting up in here. See, it's got a 4-inch diameter-ish. So 2 inches to the center. Then you're left with 11. We'll just say you're left with 11 inches. Now the wheel and tire radius on Los Viejos, the radius was 12 and a half. So if this rear end was sitting right against the frame and this was on the ground, I would be 1.5 inches off the ground, which unacceptable. But we'll see. So what I would have to do, and then obviously I wouldn't want it sitting right like that, because if I want to roll really low, it'd be nice to have a little bit more cushion, although I would hit the frame anyways. But it'd be nice to have 3 inches, I guess. 3 more inches in here. So then I'd have to notch this like that. But that tray sits right here, and the trunk comes down like that. So I literally have to cut all of this out probably to make that work. And then I don't know if the drive shaft coming in to that rear end all the way up, bottom out on the floor or not. I might have to look at cutting out a small section of that. It probably wouldn't be too bad though. That's a fair bit of work to notch the frame, cut out the floor, and all that stuff. And I think I need to figure out some of my front suspension first. Because if I do all the work to get it to lay frame in the ass end, in the back end, then what if I can't get it to lay frame in the front end? I don't think it's going to be hard. So what I'm probably going to do is get started on cleaning up some of the suspension components that are there. We will try mocking them up on here without the spring and stuff like that. And I will figure out how low I can go. If I can go low enough in the front with the stock setup, then no question, we will probably be notching the rear frame to get it to lay frame. If I can only get it to sit 1.5 inches on the front, without going with some custom control arms and stuff, then I don't know, might hold off. But going to be doing some research and some thinking about it. So tonight we are heading over to H Bros Mechanical. They've got a parts washer and a parts sandblaster there. Dan is basically brother from another mother. He's going to help me get the control arms and stuff all cleaned up and sorted, and so we can start mocking those up this weekend, hopefully. So stay tuned and I'll show you what's up. What's up, guys? So today we're going to take those control arms and stuff that we cleaned up with Dan and H-Boys the other day and mop them up on the front of the car and see what we need to do to get this thing on the frame. I think 2 inch drop is good. So now we're 27. All right, what's up, guys? So we took the Buick and laid it on the frame. As you can see, looks pretty good. Sounds like in the front end, the only thing we really need to do is get those 2 inch drop spindles that I was talking about. So once we do that, she should lay on the ground just like this. You can see the frame sitting right on the ground.
Huge shout out to Phytech EFI for supplying us with this Ultimate LS kit. This Ultimate LS kit is rated for up to 500 horsepower, and on their website, they have products listed for all the way up to 1,000 horsepower. This specific kit comes with the trans controller because I will be running the 4L65E. So if you're looking to LS swap your ride, be sure to check out phytechefi.com and see what options they have for you. Phytech products are also now sold with a 3-year industry-leading limited warranty. This specific kit is product number 70002. Let's open this up and see what's all included. We've got our wiring harness. These are gaskets for the intake, O2 sensor, another sensor. This kit comes with all of the sensors you need to run the system, which is awesome. This is a cable for our handheld, and here's our handheld controller with LS software. This is a very nice handheld unit, actually. It's got the Phytech logo on the back, additional portions of the wiring harness. This is our windshield mount for the Phytech controller. Additional wiring harness. I believe this is most likely for the transmission. Yes, this is for the transmission. This includes the weld-on or clampable thong for the O2 sensor. This is our Phytech 92mm throttle body. That looks and feels beautiful. Now, the big mama jama. This is what got me really excited about this kit. As everyone knows, the stock intake on the LS engines are, yeah, they leave something to be desired. This entire kit comes with all of this to LS swap and run your engine and transmission, but it also comes with the upgraded intake and throttle body. So let's open this up, take a look. Here is our Ultimate LS ECU, the plug for the wiring harness. Very nice. So this whole kit eliminates the need to run through that wiring harness and pull all your pins and know what you're doing. Very excited for this. This is going to make LS swapping the Buick a lot easier for somebody who's inexperienced like myself. Premium flow matched injectors. And these are our last piece of the puzzle. These are our new fuel rails and hardware. So it comes with a nice braided fuel line with AN fittings to connect the two fuel rails. Those will look absolutely stunning on there, coated to match the intake. And that's it. That is the entire Ultimate Phytech EFI LS kit. Very excited to get this installed. We have a few steps to get through first on Dead Betty before we get to swapping in the LS, and then before we get to the fun part of putting all of this on. Next up, we have to rebuild the front suspension on Living Ded Girl, so that way all of that stuff is mocked up. Once I get a replacement vehicle for my wife, we will be pulling the 6-liter LS out of her Denali, and as well as the 4L65E, and then go through the LS, make sure everything's good in there, and then take the 4L65E, and we will need to convert it from a 4-wheel drive to a 2-wheel drive. Today we are going to work on Project Living Ded Girl. I've got some awesome parts here from a couple of new sponsors that I'm super excited to introduce. So today we are focusing on rebuilding that front suspension, getting all the new bushings and stuff like that in. So that includes dropped uprights from the awesome guys at Batman Fab. That'll allow us to lay frame in the front without modifying the control arms, as long as all my math worked out good. Here's our old spindle and upright, and the new one from Fatman Fab. This is beefy, so you can see the difference. It's gonna take that spindle, lift it up about 2 inches,
That should give us about a 2-inch drop, probably a little more with the geometry of the suspension. Super excited about these. This is something that when I bought the Buick forever ago, this was on the list of parts that I wanted to have. Reached out to the guys at Fat Man Fab there, and they're like, hell yeah, let's be a part of it, let's do it. And then we also got a full front end rebuild kit from BOP Parts, Buick Oldsmobile Pontiac Parts, which is a caddy daddy company. So check them out for these odd cards like the Oldsmobile and the Buick. They've got tons of parts available on there, including some new old stock parts, some really hard to find stuff. Also, reach out to them, call them, message them. They're a small company, and a lot of their inventory is not on their website. So if you reach out to them and ask them, hey, do you have whatever, they've probably got it or can get their hands on it for you. They've been doing that stuff for a long time. Well guys, there you have it. I have put together the front suspension, control arms, not the whole suspension. I put together the front control arms, dropped uprights, spindles, kingpins, all that kind of stuff. Got it all snugged up on the car, and everything still has to be greased, and then obviously stuff will have to be loosened and tightened and stuff like that as we get an alignment done eventually. But for now, yeah, we're just trying to get it as a roller. So I just kind of set everything right in the middle of its adjustability, and yeah, the kit that I got from BOP Parts worked out fantastic. Yeah, so kind of the next step that I want to take, hopefully in the next video here, is we are going to start stripping down the Denali. I want to get the motor and transmission out of that one, and then we can drop it in there, start mopping it up, see what it looks like, see what all has to be cut, and how we're going to move forward with that. Dead Betty be looking like she just got out of prison in Mexico. We had Eileen from Stellar Designs come in and do pinstriping on the car. Huge shout out, Stellar Designs, for doing the pinstriping and lettering on Dead Betty. Today, we pull this out of the Denali. As you can see, we've got the 6-liter pulled, the 6-liter and the transmission. And as you can see, my garage is a disaster. I've got to get back out here, clean this up, and I still want to pull the Hydro Boost brake setup and the power steering rack and stuff off of the Denali, because that might come in handy on the Buick. We'll see, might use it, might not, but I might as well pull it now while I can, and then I can get the rest of the Denali hauled off and gone. And then we will start tearing this apart. I've got some concerns obviously. A lot of times these LS, when you put them in a car like this, will need a new shallower pan. So we're gonna drop it in there, see where the engine height sits with the pan sitting in there, see how the tunnel does to where the rear axle is. Probably gonna have to look at cutting up some floor, possibly cutting up some firewall. We wanna make sure the engine's not gonna sit too far forward. I'm hoping to use these original engine mounts on the frame. So we'll see how well those line up. Got my eye on a engine mount setup that I think will work out really, really well, as long as we're not too far off, and see if we have room for our steering and also our hood. So lots of stuff to check for, lots of stuff to look at it. Stick around, find out if it's all gonna fit. Plus, I'm gonna show you guys some other cool stuff that we've got for the Buick, some other major components that we've been looking for, and what else we are going to steal off of the Yukon to make it work. So stick around, let's find out. We also got our rear end for the car. This one here is a 8.8 out of a Fox Body Mustang, so it should be posi, which is sweet because it needs to be posi. And then the Fox Body rear ends are also a little narrower, so I think that this will work. And I was just going to take a quick measurement from drum to drum and see what that looks like on our rear frame. So on the Buick, we are just shy of 48 inches from frame to frame, from drum to drum. Here is 53 inches, 5 inches, 2.5 inches on each side. That's how much space we'd have between the brake and the frame. I think that's perfect. I just want to be able to set up with as much back spacing on that rim as I could on those rear rims. Get as much of a lip as I can. That would be sweet. So the width of that'll be perfect. I'd probably do a 5-lug axle swap on it. And if I'm doing the 5-lug, might switch to disc brakes as well. I mean, I might as well. So 5-lug axles and disc brakes on there. Pretty sweet. I like it when a plan starts to come together. Next up, what I want to do, because I need to get rid of this thing, get it out of the driveway, is I'm gonna pull all the steering and stuff out of the front end here, and then pull the Hydro Boost brake setup. I think it'd be really cool to run the Hydro Boost brake setup and the power steering off of that pump, because obviously that's what it was designed for. And the way the steering is set up, I think I can make it work in the car, obviously with some modification. Same with the brake booster. All this stuff worked really good in the Denali. And then I'll see about pulling the brake pedal and stuff too. Don't know if I'll end up using that. I have no idea what it looks like, but we'll pull it out anyways, see if we can use it. Then we can get this thing hauled out of here and have my driveway back, and we can get busy.
Shakalaka! That was funny to do this.
Okay, so as you can see, we had to cut out a pretty big chunk to make the radiator fit. Obviously still needs a bunch of cleanup because it's ugly right now, but I'll have to come in the wheel well here and box this in with plated in with some steel to protect it from the tire. Same on this side. And then the hose, the lower radiator hose. I might have to find like a 90 to come out of there and back into the engine bay right away. But we're away from the fan. Put some rubber on the bottom, or I will put some rubber on the bottom and some rubber on the top to support the radiator. Right now, I'm just putting in the rest of the, roughly putting in the rest of the front end. So I'm just gonna drive some self-tappers into some of the stuff because a lot of it needs like clean up and rework and some structure added back to it. But I just wanna make sure it's all gonna fit again and look good. But right now, super excited. Looks like we will get the original radiator to work. Sponsor for the 1955 Buick, Jenny Shifter. Jenny Shifter, American-made parts for your American-made hot rod. Back in the heyday of hot rodding, when drag strips dotted the American landscape, Jenny Shifter was born in a garage in West Covina, California, creating an iconic line of hot rod accessories including shifters, knobs, handbrakes, pedals, and cables that would become the standard of the industry. Jenny Shifter is now located in Colorado and owned by Nick and Sonia Peterson and their children, who maintain the tradition that all Jenny Shifter products are designed and built to the highest standards. Let's open this up and I'll show you what I got. What I got was a sliding mid-mount, transmission mount, which will allow me to pick between, I believe it's 3 different locations on the transmission, because I'm not 100% sure where it's going to sit in there for now. And my transmission is actually over at Highwood Rod and Customs getting rebuilt. So I decided that this would be the best option for me, and I can set the shifter where I want it once I install. So I will take you through that in a moment. And then on to the the exciting part, the pretty part. You then have to select a shifter arm. I absolutely love their Commander series, and I'll show you why in a minute here. And I also wanted to get the tallest shifter arm I could get. I just think that's cool. You know, I'm not looking for a performance shifter, although this is a very high quality shifter. Just something that looks cool. So I went with the 19-inch Commander shifter arm in polished. So you can see here, that is a beautiful, beautiful shifting arm. Then what you need to do is select your shift knob. Now, I like green, and I'm probably going with some kind of green in the interior. However, these are easy to switch out, and you can attach any shift knob from any supplier to fit onto the shifting mechanism. May need a adapter depending on what you're doing. So I went with this beautiful green one, and as you can see, this threads right on there. Now, the incredible thing about what Jenny Shifter does is none of their shifting arms are hollow, because there's no need for a button on their automatic shifters. So you can run any style knob you want on your automatic transmission and have a nice, sturdy, strong shifting arm for that transmission. Now, the way they get away with having no button to shift it is that they use a, I would say, a gated style automatic shifting mechanism. So you can see it comes with all of the hardware, bracketry. It's labeled for where it goes, brackets, all the hardware you need. These are the parts that you can mount the shifter in different locations along the transmission. And then here's the shifter itself. Now, I'll get into this package and I'll show you what makes this work. Yeah, so this will lock you out of your different gears, so you can't accidentally shift into reverse or park or anything like that while you're driving. So similar to, say, a column shift. So this whole thing will sit on top of your transmission, and this is what will allow you to do the shifting. So this is a beautiful, beautiful product, and I'm super excited to put that in the car. The plan here is that I took everything off the engine that I know I don't need right now, but still keeps it sealed up. That way I can go through and clean this up really good. I'm gonna take a wire brush and some degreaser and a hose and just clean the ever-living shit out of it. Just sitting back here, checking it out, seeing how good it looks. So yeah, that's pretty sweet. Plenty of room in the back there from the intake side anyways. And then the only issue I'm running into right now is that the water neck on the water pump is in the way of the throttle. So I think I did read somewhere that these were reversible, but I also don't like the way that looks. Like, I have a bracket that sits in here to hold my throttle cable, and I don't think that would work if you flipped it the other way. So I just have to look at an alternate solution for this. Hopefully not a whole new water pump, but if it is, I mean, it's probably not a big deal because, yeah, it's an LS, so it's probably not too bad at all. Yeah, so it looks pretty sweet. Got a bit of dopamine there. Made a little bit of progress today. Looks good. I am going to get this garage cleaned up. Now that I've got the engine sitting where I want it to sit, I want to come and mount the steering box in place. That's the steering box from the Yukon Denali. that I tore apart to get the motor and stuff. I plan on using the power steering pump, and the Hydro Boost brakes, all from the Denali. And I have swapped the old Buick steering, used to be back here, and I'm going to put in the new steering setup up here like it was on the Denali. My goal here is to not have to buy a new oil pan. So that's why the engine's sitting up so much taller and why I'm moving the steering to the front. I've got tons of room up front there and not as much room in the back. I've got it sitting up so tall, so I don't think that the oil pan is the lowest point on the motor anymore. So when I air it all the way out, it's not my oil pan that's sitting on the ground or hit a speed bump and, you know, smash my oil pan, that kind of stuff. So that should all be good. To mount these, what I have decided to do is I've got just had a poker game in here not too long ago, so I haven't put it away yet. But anyways, I've got this black steel pipe. Yes, I know it's plumbing, but it's fairly thick and it's black steel and whatever. These bolts fit it perfectly. I'm going to cut these down, but I'm going to have a plate on the outside of the frame here for these bolts to go through. So there'll be a bolt that's above the frame here, another bolt that's below the frame here, and one that goes through the frame here. And then I'll have another plate on the inside of the frame, and then I'll make up these for the bolts to run through between those two plates and between the frame and the back plate to make it all nice and strong and sturdy. And then I'll have another little section of this between the pump and this back plate, because as you can see here, the mounting surface here is the pump's in the way anyways. So plan is to get this mounted. Okay, as you can see here, so just like I said, I cut out these two plates and drilled the holes in them, make them all match up. This one goes through an existing hole in the frame, and then this one goes underneath with a tube, and then this one goes on top with a tube. And then there is also a tube, you can't see it, but there's a tube that runs from this one to this bracket here, and then I've got spacers cut out here to keep this away from the frame as well. What I will end up doing is like welding this all together here and here and here. Actually, probably not here. I'll probably only weld this plate together with the spacers and the tubes, and then I will weld this plate and these tubes and the one underneath to the frame. And then to remove this, you just remove these bolts and this plate will come off. Now that I think about it though, why would that plate have to come off? So I could just weld this whole thing onto here, but this is like rock solid on there right now, which is awesome. That will allow me to start figuring out my steering geometry to get over to there. And then for this on the other side, I will do the exact same thing. I'll have a plate on the outside of the frame, a plate on the inside of the frame, and this one I don't think needs to be spaced away. No, this one won't need to be spaced away from the frame at all, so it can sit right against the bracket. But I will have spacers in the frame to strengthen that up between the two mounts, and then same thing, it'll all get welded together. I just need to make sure that it is perfectly straight across. But overall, I'm super happy with how that looks. I'm not going to weld this all together just yet because I'm going to mock this up on here, put this on the other side, and then what I'll need to do is basically assemble the rest of the steering back together and then mount it to these knuckles and make sure it'll all work together properly and it doesn't need to slide forward or backwards or anything like that. But yeah, I think that is all the time I've got for today. It is dark outside and family's getting antsy to spend some time with me. Got a bunch of stuff going on tomorrow, so I'm not going to be able to get out here and work on some more stuff. But I'm super happy with what I've done. I mean, you can tell that I've learned with each bracket I made. This first motor mount, ugly. Second motor mount, looks pretty good. These mounts look awesome. So I might go back and redo the motor mounts again, make them look nice and sit a bit better. Because this bracket looks freaking good and it's beefy and strong and I'm not worried about it. And that was fun. So yeah, off camera, I'll probably just mount that other arm there. And then next weekend or the next Dead Betty video, we will hopefully put together the mounts for the radiator. I was hoping to get to that today, but I've run out of time. So we can hopefully put the radiator mounts together. And yeah, the other thing I want to get looking at is mounting the brake pedal and the master cylinder. I know that I'm probably going to come and put a pretty heavy plate on the front of the firewall here to box in that opening again, because I had those ugly boxes from factory on there, but I'll put some heavy plate in there. And then my brake pedal assembly, you can see that I should be able to, once it's fastened to the master cylinder and stuff like that, I should be able to tie it into something, some of the structure up behind the dash, because in these ones, the firewall is not designed to support the brake pedal and the force it takes to apply on the brakes. So you want to beef that up as much as you can and make sure it works properly, because you don't want that cracking or breaking or coming apart. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for checking out the video. Thanks for following along. If you haven't pre-ordered or ordered, I guess by the time this comes out, the February issue of the magazine, those will be mailing out this week. So expect them in your mailbox soon. If you haven't ordered one yet, hurry up and get over there, buy one. Or if you're in my area or the Edmonton area, I will be in Stony Plain at the Speedway Market on February 10th. And I will have copies of the February magazine there with me, as long as all of our back issues. I make sure I always have a small inventory of back issues, because I find a lot of guys, like getting the whole set. So yeah, hopefully I'll see you there. If not, check out the website and keep cruise culture alive, guys.